Hello and welcome to the Quincy Access Television Studios. I'm Mark Crosby. Thank you for joining me and my guest, Kate Tenney from the Quincy Department of Planning and Community Development and the Office of Healthy Homes. Big title.
Yes.
Welcome back. You've, of course, been in the studio before.
Yeah, working on the podcast as well as just several other in the knows that we've done. It's great to be back here.
Great to have you back. You and I were talking about the lead program, the lead removal program that we will talk about here today. You have also been a cartoon character in a public service announcement that we have produced yearly.
Yes, definitely. If you see a witch in the Halloween time,
that's you.
That is me. That is my cartoon character.
So talk about, I guess, your role in the Department of Planning and Community Development, which will lead into the Office of Healthy Homes.
Yeah, so I've worked for almost now 2 years in the Community Development Office, and so I work specifically in our marketing and outreach portion. So what I do is I put on events throughout the year. If you know of our Lead Poisoning Prevention Week, or we go to the August Moon Festival, the Lunar New Year. We visited schools around Quincy, so I will plan those as well as create all the graphics for our office, host and edit our podcast, Home Sweet Healthy Homes, which is here at QATV.
Correct, right in our podcast studio, and quite a few episodes.
Yes, over a year. I think we were on episode 15.
And varied topics too.
Yes. Bringing in guests from the community, attorneys, people from the office, whoever wants to join, public service agencies, members that we work with.
Right.
So it's always nice to talk to everybody, hear a little bit about what they do, and the partnership that they have with us.
Well, and it's all about partnerships. It's all about connections. So if your department, your city department, can serve as a connection to other departments and folks can get an issue resolved, that's really the name of the game.
Of course, and we always like to say, if you have any questions at all, feel free to call our office. We may not know the answer, but we can direct you to someone who does know the answer through those partnerships that we make in the community, which is super helpful. It's always the worst when you're going down a rabbit hole and you don't know who to talk to, and maybe some people aren't being as helpful. So we always want to make sure that if we don't answer your question, we can find someone that is able to answer your question.
Very good. Well said. I think a colleague from your office was working on a project, and she reached out to me to sign out some equipment.
Yeah.
And, it's funny, I got back to her, I guess within a day or two, and she said it's nice to hear back immediately from someone you reach out to.
Yeah.
So certainly that department, your department, is quick to respond to folks, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. We'll try to respond within the day or the next day, just to help you out and make sure that you get the answers that you need.
You mentioned I mentioned the cartoon, and that was during Lead Prevention Week.
Yes, it's a mouthful, Lead Poisoning Prevention Week.
I missed a word.
So that's in October, and it is to support our lead abatement program that is through our office. So our lead abatement program will provide up to $30,000 grant with an additional $10,000 Healthy Homes grant. So what I mean, the $30,000 grant is in the 5-year forgivable loan. So if you live in your house for 5 years, the loan is forgiven. 20% of the loan is forgiven each year. And then when you apply, you automatically get that $10,000 Healthy Homes grant. So that's just a grant. You don't need to pay us back in a loan or any form, and that's used for smoke detectors, just to make your house healthy. And then the other $30,000 is to remove the lead from your house, because it is harmful to children under the age of 6. So if your house is built before 1978, I definitely recommend looking into removing it or getting it inspected or anything along the lines of that.
And the Quincy community certainly has older homes.
Last time I looked, it was about 75% of Quincy homes had lead or Quincy homes were built before 1978, which could mean they have a high chance of lead being in the paint. So definitely, if you're curious or you know your house is built before 1978, I'd recommend giving us a call. It is a free lead inspection once you apply. So if you have no lead in your house, then you'll be good to go. And now you can go on knowing that you don't have any lead in the house, so you're not affecting any children, yourself, or anything like that.
We will get to why lead removal is important in just a bit, but talk about the process. So if a resident is interested, they call you and kind of walk through the process.
Yeah, so if you're interested or you hear about our program and you have any questions, you can call us. You can call myself, Kate, Joyce, who is my colleague, and she looks at all the application and does all the underwriting. So Joyce is who you'll be hearing throughout the process. If you need any additional documents, or if you're wondering when, the walkthrough is happening, she's who you'd call. But also my other colleague, Jane, she's our lead program manager as well. So the three of us are all open to answering any questions. So once you call, we'll give you an application, which you can submit online, or you can mail it in to us, whatever is easiest for you. And then the underwriting process takes about 3 weeks. We'll look through all your documents, make sure you're income eligible. We'll send out a title search, just make sure that you own the home. From there, we'll do an assessment. So our assessor will go out just to make sure your house is habitable and healthy before we start the work. And we'll also do that lead inspection, see how much lead is in your house, and then we'll go forward into the bidding process. So we'll do a walkthrough of your house with the contractors. And the bidding process is about 3 weeks. So it'll be 1 week for the walkthrough process, and then the contractors have about 2 weeks to bid on the house. And then it'll go into the construction and the closing portion. So the closing, you'll look through the documents. It will be myself, the applicant, and the contractor. Here is a place where the contractor, the applicant, they can all ask questions if you're having questions based on your scope of work, which is what needs to be completed in your house. And once everything looks good to go, you're happy with it, contractor's happy, then they'll start the construction process, which can take around 8 to 12 weeks, depending on how much lead you have in your house, what you need to get completed, whether it's windows. And then we will do a closeout period when it's all completed, which is about 3 weeks or so. So we like to say it's about a 4 to 6 month process.
Okay, so during this process, if it's determined that there is lead in the house, as far as where the homeowners would go during that period?
Yeah, good question. So if there is a lot of lead and the homeowners do need to move out for any sort of construction reason, they have two options. So the first option, they can get a $1,000 relocation stipend. So we'll give them $1,000 to live with a family member or a friend. Or they could choose the hotel option, which will give them a hotel stay for the duration of the construction process. And so this hotel will have a kitchenette, will be a suite-like style, so you're not going to be having to go out every night for dinner or whatever it may be. You can cook in your home and act like a normal week until the construction is done.
So I guess so much is put into this because of the dangers of lead, obviously.
Yes,
So
yes.
let's talk about the dangers of lead.
Yeah, so lead is particularly harmful for children under the age of 6. And so for children under the age of 6, it can cause developmental delays, lower IQ, some behavioral issues, and just because kids are more likely to get that chipping paint falling off the windowsills. So we like to definitely suggest, if you have a child under the age of 6 or a frequently visiting child, one that comes over around 3 to 4 times a week, to look into our program, just because it is that grant period. So if you live in your house for 5 years, you don't need to pay us back.
You say windowsills because that's usually the height of a small child,
Right? Yeah,
They're
yeah.
right up there. Their mouth is probably meeting the
Perfect,
windowsill.
yeah.
I guess the dangers of obviously something like chewing wood
Yeah.
or windowsill,
Yeah.
but also if you're doing any home remodeling and you're
Yes.
sanding.
Yes, that's a big one too. A lot of people are like, well, we painted over the paint in the lead, and still that is, like you said, if you're sanding down layers or even like the fumes, it's best to get it abated entirely. Painting over it doesn't really fix the issue. There's still, if you're going to do any sort of remodeling, you'll still be at risk for the dust that will come to be. And while adults have a less chance of getting lead poisoning, the children have a very high chance. So it doesn't really fix the problem by painting it over.
Right, and to do painting right, you're supposed to lightly sand the area so that the paint sticks
Yeah.
anyway. So in that process,
Yeah.
you would be disturbing the
Generating
potential
a lot of dust, lead dust.
dust, right.
Yeah. No, not to mention it'll just go onto your furniture and make it bigger.
pets.
Yeah, exactly.
What about renters?
Yeah, so renters are still able to apply, and renters do not need to have a child under the age of 6. Only if it's owner occupied, you need to have a child under the age of 6. Of course, if you have a child under the age of 6, that's great. But you do need to talk to your landlord. Your landlord will need to apply to the program just to acknowledge that, construction is going to be done on their property and they're okay with it. It's a much smaller application than the renter and tenant application, but it's just to acknowledge that the landlord knows and understands that there's going to be construction done, but renters are still able to apply.
So you have homeowners are protected, renters are protected.
Yeah, yeah,
So an all-inclusive program.
exactly. It covers all areas, and so it's a pretty great program for everyone to apply if they think, like I said, if they think their house is built before 1970 and they have any inkling. It's free to apply, free free lead inspection. So I don't see why not.
There's no downside.
Right?
Absolutely no downside. The Office of Healthy Homes also has other programs.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the first-time homebuyer program.
So our first-time homebuyer program is for eligible potential homebuyers to not have the burden of buying a home. So we'll provide down payment assistance. And so that's up to $40,000 or 9% of the purchase price and that down payment assistance. And so you do have to purchase a house in Quincy, Braintree, Randolph, or Weymouth. And the house does have to be under $606,000. But if you check off all of those, then you are eligible to apply and receive that down payment assistance. You do have to take a home buying course before, just goes over the best policies and practices of owning a home and looking for a home. And while at these classes, it's really great because you'll find different resources within the area of where you're looking to buy the home. So it is a nice and beneficial class to attend.
And you mentioned these other towns, so there's a collaborative.
Yeah. So it's called the Home Consortium. So like I said, it consists of those towns, Quincy, Braintree, Randolph, and Weymouth. And so if you're looking in any of those places, it's definitely a nice place to check out and contact us.
Any folks, probably quite a few folks, this program and the lead program, they might not have been aware of prior.
Yeah. So we're trying to get our marketing out there, making sure that people are aware that these programs are available, and we're here to help you too. So if you have any questions or you might know someone, definitely let them know about our programs, and let them know that we're available to help. And so with that first-time homebuyer program, you'll apply to our program until after you have the purchase and sales agreement. So we're not going to help you look for the home. We're just going to help you fund that down payment assistance.
Very good. Anything else about that process that we missed?
So the first-time homebuyer, it's a little bit of a quicker process just because we have your purchase sales agreement and you have to finish it by the closing when you sign the papers. So we will do that in about a month or so. And we'll mail the check directly to the lawyer. So they'll already have it when you're signing those documents to make it as easy and smooth as possible.
Very good. Another program, a relatively new program,
Yeah.
Aging in Place.
Yes.
You hear that a lot. I think most or a lot of folks prefer to age in a residence that they have lived a good portion of their life in.
Yeah.
So that hence aging in place.
Right. So this one is for our older adults. So this is for anyone who is 62 and older. And we're providing a $5,000 grant to help them age in their place. So if you want to remove your bathtub and make it a walk-in shower, if you find that you may need a ramp, some outdoor lighting, or maybe move your cabinets down a little bit so you're not reaching above and risking hurting yourself, that is for our older adults. And we have been stopping by the Kennedy Center and handing out our applications and flyers so they can ask us any questions that they may have. And so that you can send it, mail it in as well, or apply online.
My mom just said today, as a matter of fact, I was there earlier today, and she lives in Quincy, and she says, I can't reach the high shelves in my cabinets anymore. That's because as older people age, they tend to shrink.
Yeah.
So here's a program that assists folks.
Yeah. And so it is a grant, so they don't need to pay us back at all. You do have to live in Quincy and own your home in Quincy, but other than that, you are all good to go. You can apply, call us on the phone, and send in your application. It is the same application as our other programs because you do have to fall under those income limits. But other than that, you'll meet with a physical therapist. The applicant and the physical therapist will go around the house and see what the applicant needs. It's suited to each different applicant, so it's your own particular needs to age in your home, and from there, you'll go into the construction. It should be done shortly.
And as you had mentioned, a couple of those elements, height of cabinets being an issue, lighting being an issue as you age, and the other one that's escaping me that is probably the most important, which you had mentioned, and I can't recall.
Ramp?
Ramp? No, the ramp. You did mention ramp, but there was another element to, the bathtub.
Yes. So that was a lot of questions that we received over when we were at the Kennedy Center. They're like, I'm just going to trip one of these days, and can you do that? I'm like, yes, that is definitely an eligible repair that we can do. So if you have any questions about what is eligible, what isn't, feel free to call us over. It is a new program, so we're open to any questions that you may have, but definitely one that you should take advantage of if you feel like you're getting older and maybe...
We all are.
Right.
We're on the younger side, or at least you're on the younger side.
Yes. And we did have an episode with elder law attorney come on and talk about on the podcast, talk about
Right,
the
I
Age in
remember
Place
that.
program. Yeah, which is really cool.
Yeah, those are helpful. If folks haven't checked those out, those are available. So folks should, and hopefully there will be more episodes in the future.
Yeah.
I guess one of the things I'm thinking of here, in kind of this day and age, especially for older folks, maybe this program will help them realize how easy it is to really pick up the phone because they're so used to doing that as opposed to going online. And how really a call to a person at the end of the line is so easy and so beneficial, clearly because of these programs, but so easy to work through.
Yes. Yeah, we're willing to help you. Some people are like, well, I don't know how to use online. I don't know how to download my documents. If you have all of your paper documents and you want to come over to our office, we'll make copies for you. We'll, sit with you while you fill out the application. If you have any questions, we're right there to answer them. So we're available to help you with whatever you may need. If that's mailing the documents back to us, we'll mail you out the application. If you want to submit it online, or even, like I mentioned, come into our office and sit with us, fill out the documents, fill out the application. And so when you leave, you know that you have a complete application, and the next step is for us to review it, and you'll go on to meet the physical therapist and go through the bidding process. So I know for some older adults that technology can be a little difficult, so we're there to help with anything that you may need.
And I think the one-on-one, often older folks would like to meet in person with the person they're dealing with, and they certainly can.
Yes, you can just head over to our office, 34 Coddington Street, right across from the Thomas Green Library. You can't miss us. And then head up to the 3rd floor, and we'll be there to help you out.
Very good. I guess maybe in the closing moments of this program, first of all, anything that I missed, and/or any frequently asked questions on any of these three programs we've highlighted?
Yeah, we do have an additional housing rehab program as well, which is $30,000, and that's in a 0% loan. So that is for up to $30,000, like I mentioned, to repair and to make your house habitable. So that can be windows, roofing, and so that is, you know, if you need maybe a little bit more than $5,000 grant, or maybe you're not 62 years old, but you still need some repairs done to your house, you can definitely consider looking into that program.
Very good. Yes, roofs and windows are kind of a popular thing to need replacement.
Yes, definitely. So, like I said, you can always give us a call. We're always available and here to answer your questions.
And I know we've had the number on the bottom of the screen,
Yes.
but for folks, I suppose you could give out that number
Yeah.
right here, audibly too.
Yeah, so our number is 617-376-1055.
Very good. Well, Kate, thank you for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
A lot of information, certainly
Yes.
a lot of
Yes,
programs that are available to folks.
Yeah.
Money that that folks can save
yeah,
is significant, and the risks, especially with the
Yeah.
lead removal, the risks that can be avoided.
yeah.
Certainly, it's substantial.
Right, and I always say, like, if you don't need it, or maybe you know your house is built after 1978, you know, spread it through word of mouth, because maybe your friend could need it, or your neighbor down the street. You never know when we're here with these funds and we're ready to help.
And I also, you know, it goes without saying, but I guess I'll say it anyway. The home repairs, we talked about the tubs, and we talked about lighted walkways. All of these things are fall hazards, if not given attention.
Yeah,
And so that obviously could, just like the lead, end up hurting someone.
right. Yeah, so it's preventable. So we're trying to help with the older adults age in their home and be safe, and make sure it's all accessible for them, but also with the younger kids, make sure that they grow up healthy and happy, and hence the name of our office, the Office of Healthy Homes. We're trying to make it so that everyone in Quincy has a safe, accessible, and healthy home.
And I guess it's certainly on your department to kind of find these grants,
Yeah,
find this federal money. It's out there, and I think a lot of times folks don't, in certain communities, might not be actively searching these out. It's a loss to the residents
It is.
if it isn't done by the municipality.
Yeah. So here at Quincy, we're lucky to have all of those programs. And for some of our programs, like that first-time home buyer, it extends to Quincy, Braintree, Randolph, and Weymouth. But also our lead abatement program extends to Weymouth as well. So Quincy and Weymouth. So Weymouth gets the benefits of that too. So we're definitely lucky here in Quincy to have those programs and give it out to the community.
And folks obviously pay federal taxes and, in a sense, pay into this. Everyone pays into this. Certainly, if you are someone that can make use of any of these programs, think about that, right?
Yeah.
You paid into it for years. Now you can actually potentially make use of it.
Yeah, use these programs to your benefit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, that sounds like a good place to end. Thank you, Kate, and
Thank you.
welcome back at another date to talk more about the
Yes,
Office of
yes.
Healthy Homes.
Always a pleasure being here.
Great. Always a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
And thank you at home for watching, and just please remember to support Quincy Access Television. We'll see you again soon.